The rain-slicked alley behind the diner reeked of garbage and regret, but it was the only place I could breathe without the weight of 1,000 judging eyes. I slammed the back door shut, my apron still twisted around my waist like a noose, and doubled over, puking up the bitter dregs of cheap coffee and unspoken fury. "Get out," he'd whispered just minutes ago, his voice a velvet blade slicing through the steam of our hidden booth. Those 3 words from the man who'd made me feel seen for the first time in years, now echoing like a death sentence in the pounding LA downpour. I wiped my mouth with the back of my hand, tasting salt that wasn't just rain, and glanced back at the diner's flickering neon sign. El Sol's? Open 24/7. Open for business. Yeah, for dreams that walked in on 2 legs and left you hollow. That night, under the relentless patter against the dumpster lids, I realized I'd been running long before him. From the dusty Texas trailer park that birthed me, from the Bible thumpers who called my wandering eyes a sin, from the mirror that showed a 24-year-old ghost named Alex Rivera, waiter by day, invisible by life. But him, Ethan Hale, the guy whose face was already plastered on bus benches from Silver Lake to Santa Monica, that crooked smile promising indie flick heartbreak to every girl in America, he'd crashed into my world like a meteor over the Hollywood Hills, and in one stolen night, he'd ignited something I couldn't extinguish. Now, as thunder cracked overhead, I grabbed my duffel from the shadows, stuffed with nothing but faded jeans, a dog-eared copy of Kerouac, and the crumpled napkin he'd scrawled his number on, and bolted into the storm. No looking back. Not this time. The bus to nowhere idled at the corner of Sunset and Vine, its engine growling like a beast ready to devour strays. I was soaked to the bone by the time I slumped into the back seat, the vinyl sticking to my skin like a bad tattoo. The driver, a grizzled vet with a Dodgers cap pulled low, didn't even glance in the rearview. LA's got a way of teaching you to ignore the walking wounded. As the bus lurched forward, weaving through the artery of the city that never sleeps, I pulled out that napkin. His handwriting was all sharp angles and confidence. "Call me. We need round 2. Round 2. As if last night had been a casual spin on the merry-go-round, not the axis tilt that upended my entire pathetic orbit. It started innocently enough, or as innocent as things get when you're slinging hash browns to the graveyard shift. El Sol's was a relic, tucked in the shadow of the Chateau Marmont, where the beautiful people came to pretend they were real. I worked the late shift because it paid the rent on my shoebox in Echo Park, a closet with a hot plate and a view of the 101 freeway's eternal crawl. Tips were shit unless you flirted just right, and flirting, that was my secret superpower, honed from years of dodging small-town whispers. "Hey, sugar, extra syrup on that." I'd purr to the suits, or wink at the drag queens nursing black coffee at dawn. But mostly, I kept my head down, dreaming of scripts I'd never write, roles I'd never land. Acting? In this town, I tried once, back when I first rolled in on a Greyhound from Amarillo, armed with a headshot and hubris. Crickets. So I waited tables, nameless, faceless, just another brown kid hustling in the land of reinvention. Ethan Hale walked in around 2 a.m., the witching hour when the veil between who's who and who the hell cares thins to a razor. He was alone, which was weird for a guy whose latest Sundance buzz had every casting director drooling. Tall, lean like a coyote, with that sun-bleached hair and eyes the color of faded denim, troubled, but twinkling with the kind of mischief that screams trouble worth having. He slid into the corner booth, the one with the cracked vinyl that sagged like old regrets, and ordered black coffee, no cream, eyes glued to a script under the harsh fluorescent buzz. I approached with the pot, steam curling like a lover's breath. Rough night on set, or just plotting world domination, quipped, pouring slow, letting the ceramic clink against saucer like a toast to the absurd. He looked up, and bam, connection. Not the polite nod I got from tourists, but a real look, the kind that strips you bare. World domination's tomorrow, he said, voice low and gravelly, laced with that East Coast edge he hadn't quite shaken. Tonight, just trying not to drown in revisions. You ever feel like your life's a bad first draft? I laughed, too loud for the empty diner, and slid into the booth uninvited, breaking every rule in the employee handbook. But screw it. Every damn day. I'm Alex, by the way. The guy who makes sure your coffee's hot enough to scald away the bullshit. Ethan, he said, extending a hand that swallowed mine whole. Warm and calloused from God knows what guitar strings, fencing lessons for some period piece. And yeah, the bullshit. It's thick out here, isn't it? Like smog you can't outrun. We talked. God, did we talk? About the scripts that gut punch you, the additions that leave you raw, the city that chews up dreamers and spits out husks. He was fresh off a breakout role in some queer coming-of-age flick, Echoes in the Canyon, playing a closeted jock who falls for his best friend's brother. Irony? He was out, proud, the poster boy for gay and unbothered, in a town still whispering behind manicured hands. Me? I'd buried that part of myself deeper than my grandma's rosary beads, back in Texas where faggot was both curse and camouflage. By 4 a.m., the diner's ancient jukebox was crooning Springsteen, Thunder Road, fittingly, and we'd polished off half the pot. His laugh was infectious, a rumble that vibrated through the booth, and when his knee brushed mine under the table, neither of us pulled away. It was electric, that touch, innocent on the surface, but loaded like a chambered round. You got a place nearby? He asked as dawn's first bruise purpled the sky, his eyes holding mine hostage. I hesitated, heart hammering like a jackrabbit. My shoebox wasn't fit for company, let alone a guy whose face I'd seen smirking from billboards. But something in his gaze, vulnerable, hungry, cracked me open. Yeah, it's a dive, but the bed's clean. We stumbled out into the pre-dawn chill, his arm slung casual over my shoulders like we'd been doing this forever. Echo Park was a ghost town at that hour, graffiti-tagged walls whispering secrets to the jacaranda trees shedding purple regrets. My apartment was up 3 flights of creaky stairs in a stucco walk-up that smelled faintly of curry from the Indian family below. I fumbled the key, cursing under my breath, and he chuckled, pressing close from behind, his breath hot on my neck, scent of sandalwood and screen test nerves enveloping me. Inside, it was dim and cluttered. Posters of Brando and De Niro peeling from the walls, a futon piled with laundry that doubled as a muse. No pretense. He kicked off his boots, surveyed the chaos with a grin. Home sweet chaos. I like it. Real. We didn't rush. That's what made it magic or maybe madness. We sat cross-legged on the floor, splitting a warm beer from the mini-fridge, trading stories like contraband. He confessed the pressure. The agent breathing down his neck for marketable roles, the tabloids sniffing for dirt, the ex who'd sold their breakup pics to TMZ for a quick buck. They want the fairy tale, he said, tracing patterns on my palm with his thumb. But life's no script. It's all ad-libs and fuck-ups. I told him about Texas, the fire and brimstone Sundays, the dad who drank himself blind rather than face his son's deviancy. The mom who slipped me 20s and prayers when I fled at 18. LA was supposed to be the reset button. Clean slate. But it's just the same ink. Different page. His eyes softened, and he leaned in, slow as a fade to black. Our first kiss was tentative, lips brushing like whispers, testing, tasting. Then it deepened, hands roaming with the urgency of 2 souls starved for truth. We tumbled to the futon, clothes shedding like old skins, bodies mapping each other in the half-light filtering through threadbare curtains. It wasn't porn star perfect. It was human. Awkward laughs when elbows knocked, pauses to catch breaths and stares. His skin was freckled across the shoulders from too many beach reads, my calluses from trays and trials rough against his smoothness. We moved like a duet improvised on the spot. Every touch a revelation. The curve of his hip, the salt of his collarbone, the way he gasped my name like a prayer. After, tangled in sheets that smelled of thrift store lavender, we lay awake as the city stirred. Sirens wailed in the distance. A rooster crowed somewhere incongruous, and Ethan traced lazy circles on my chest. This, he murmured, voice thick with sleep and something deeper. This feels like the good part of the story. I wanted to believe him. God, how I did. But as his breathing evened into snores, doubt crept in like fog off the bay. What was I to him? Palate cleanser between takes? A secret for his method research? By the time he stirred at noon, sunlight spearing through the blinds like accusatory fingers, I was already half-dressed, brewing coffee to mask the panic. He stretched, all golden and rumpled, and pulled me back down. Morning, stranger. Round 2. We laughed, made love again. Slower this time, sunlight gilding our skin like a blessing. Then brunch at a hole-in-the-wall taqueria, where he insisted on paying, slipping the waitress, irony, a 20 extra with a wink. For the best service in town, he said, nodding at me. We walked Griffith Park after, hand in hand until a jogger's stare made us drop them, hearts sinking in sync. One day, he promised, squeezing my shoulder. One day, it'll be normal. That day came sooner than I thought. Call started, his agent, gushing about a callback for a blockbuster rom-com. Mine? Non-existent. But Ethan didn't ghost. Texts pinged like fireworks. Miss your laugh already. Dinner tonight? We met at a speakeasy in West Hollywood. All velvet booths and craft cocktails that tasted like regret. He was electric. Recounting the audition, the chemistry read with some ingenue who couldn't act her way out of a paper bag. I teased him, but inside, a knot tightened. Who was I in this reel? The extra, the love interest off-screen? As the night wore on, gin loosening tongues, he got serious. Alex, this isn't just a fling. You're real in a town full of fakes. I want more. Hell, I need it. My chest cracked open. Me too. But Ethan, your world's spotlights and scandals. Mine's grease traps and ghost tips. What if I drag you down? He cupped my face, thumbs brushing stubble. Then we climbed together. Deal? We sealed it with a kiss that tasted of olives and optimism. Stumbling back to his bungalow in the hills, a sleek glass and steel perch overlooking the basin, worlds away from my walk-up. His bed was king-sized, sheets like clouds, and we lost ourselves there until dawn. Whispering futures, co-written scripts, road trips up the Pacific coast, a life where love wasn't the plot twist. But LA doesn't do happy without hooks. A week in, the first snag. Paparazzi pics from the taqueria, blurry but damning. Us laughing, shoulders touching. The headline in some rag. Hale's hot new flame? Mystery man spotted. Comments flooded. Finally out and proud? Or just PR? Who's the arm candy? Ethan laughed it off over takeout pad thai. Let him talk. Builds buzz. I forced a smile, but the knot grew barbed. At El Sol's, whispers followed. That's the guy banging Hale. Lucky bitch. Tips dried up. Stares lingered. My boss, Rosa, a no-nonsense abuela with a soft spot for strays, pulled me aside. Mijo, fame's a fickle puta. Don't let it bite your ass. She was right. 2 weeks later, the callback landed. Ethan as the brooding lead in Neon Hearts, a queer thriller with Oscar whispers. Celebrations at his place turned into strategy sessions, his publicist mapping the narrative. I was there, peripheral, pouring wine while they dissected angles. Keep it low-key, she advised. Eye me like yesterday's news. Fans love the bad boy, but not too real. That night, alone in his infinity pool's glow, Ethan held me. Ignore her. You're my anchor, Alex. The one thing that's mine. I clung to that. To us. We stole weekends. Hiking Runyon Canyon at dawn, where coyotes howled our secrets. Picnics in Venice Beach. Sand between toes as we debated Scorsese versus Spielberg. He read me lines from his script, voice cracking on the love scene. I see you, all of you, and it terrifies me because what if I can't be enough? And I'd pull him close, murmuring, you already are, but cracks spiderwebbed. His schedule ballooned, table reads, fittings, press junkets. Texts went unanswered for days, calls to voicemails echoing my doubts. One night, post-gala, he stumbled in reeking of champagne and Chanel No. 5 hers, not his. Co-star, he slurred, collapsing beside me. Networking. You know how it is. I swallowed the bile. Yeah, I know. Jealousy festered, a slow poison. I threw myself into shifts, but El Sol's felt smaller, suffocating. Rosa noticed. Eyes on your own plate, Alex. He's got stars in his. Don't let him blind you. Then the betrayal landed like a gut punch. It was a Tuesday, muggy as sin, me scrolling TMZ during a slow lunch rush. There it was, Ethan Hale's steamy kiss with co-star at after-party. Trouble in Paradise? Grainy shots, him and her Lila Voss, the ingenue, locked lips in a shadowed booth, her hands in his hair, his pulling her close. Caption. Is Hollywood's heartthrob playing away from home? Sources say the mystery man is yesterday's news. My vision tunneled. The diner spun, plates clattering, a kid's cry piercing the roar in my ears. Rosa found me in the alley later, heaving against the wall. Dios. Go home. Mijo. This city's eaten better men. I didn't go home. I went to his. The bungalow gates yawned open, arrogance or oversight. And I stormed the driveway, gravel crunching under sneakers like breaking bones. Inside, lights blazed. Laughter spilled from the living room. Not his bungalow, wait. No, it was. But the voices, hers, purring. His, low and intimate. I burst through the French doors. Heart a war drum. There they were, Ethan and Lila, tangled on the couch. Her dress hiked. His shirt unbuttoned. Mid-kiss. Mid-lie. Time froze. Her gasp shattered it. Alex, he started, scrambling up, face ashen. Don't. My voice cracked. A stranger's. You said I was real. Your anchor. But this is the script you always wanted, straight, safe, sellable. Lila smirked, adjusting her hem. Baby, it's just PR. The tabloids eat it up. Shut up, I snarled, fists clenched. Both of you. PR? That's what I was? Method acting for your coming out arc. Ethan reached for me, eyes pleading. No. God. No. It was a mistake. One kiss, to throw them off. I love you, Alex. This is us against the world. Remember, love. The word hung, poisoned. I laughed, bitter as bile. Your world's a stage, Ethan. Mine's the wings, waiting for the curtain call. But I'm done applauding. I fled then, down the twisting roads of the hills, tires screeching like my unraveling soul. The city blurred, billboards mocking with his face. Every corner a memory we'd etched. Back in Echo Park, I packed the duffel in a frenzy. Kerouac's pages tearing in my haste, jeans stained with taqueria salsa. Rosa's words echoed, fame's a fickle puta. So was love, apparently. By midnight, I was at Union Station, ticket to anywhere clutched like a lifeline. Portland, Seattle, some nowhere that didn't glitter with ghosts. The train whistle wailed as I boarded, a banshee keen for lost boys. But as the rails clicked rhythmically, doubt gnawed. Was it betrayal, or just the city's cruel calculus? Ethan texted, please, talk to me. It's not what you think. Then calls, voicemails thick with tears. I fucked up. Come back. We can fix this. I deleted them all, staring out at the black ribbon of tracks unspooling west to east. Dawn broke over the desert, painting sagebrush gold, and in that vast emptiness, something shifted. Not forgiveness, not yet, but clarity. I'd run from Texas, from family, from myself. Running from him, that was just another verse in the same sad song. The train rattled on, carrying me toward whatever came next. Maybe I'd write it down, turn the ache into ink. Or maybe I'd just breathe, nameless no more, in a town that didn't know my face. Either way, LA faded in the distance. A glittering scar, proof I'd loved fiercely, lost brutally, and survived to tell the tale. 2 months blurred into a haze of rain-soaked streets and reinvention. I washed up in Portland, Oregon, a city of bridges and bookshops where the Willamette murmured secrets softer than LA's roar. The job was at a cozy cafe called The Daily Grind, slinging lattes to hipsters and retirees. No neon, no paparazzi. Tips were steady, smiles genuine. I rented a loft above a vintage shop, walls lined with second-hand tomes. Ginsberg, Baldwin, all the queer saints who'd paved this winding road. Ethan's face haunted still, billboards in my mind, headlines I'd sworn off but couldn't escape. Neon hearts wrapped filming, buzz built to a fever. He won some indie award, beaming on stages I refused to watch. Our story, buried under the PR avalanche. Hale's heartthrob romance heats up, Lila on his arm at premieres. Their chemistry the talk of Tinseltown. I told myself it stung less each day. Lies, but necessary ones. Portland healed in increments. There was Javier, the barista with ink-sleeved arms and a laugh like summer thunder, who invited me to poetry slams where words wove spells against loneliness. We shared smokes on fire escapes, knees brushing innocent, but I held back, walls rebuilt higher than Texas barbed wire. You're carrying a storm, amigo, he said one night, exhaling smoke rings into the drizzle. When you're ready to share the rain, I'm here. I nodded, grateful but guarded. Love felt like quicksand now, every step a risk of sinking. Instead, I wrote. Feverish nights at a scarred oak desk, pen scratching out fragments. The diner's steam, Ethan's freckles, the kiss that tasted of betrayal. Not for publication, just exorcism. Pages piled, a manuscript masquerading as therapy. Then, the letter arrived. Handwritten, postmarked LA, in that familiar angular scrawl. My hands trembled opening it, coffee forgotten on the sill. Alex, I don't know if you'll read this. Hell, I don't know if you'll burn it. But I have to try. Every award, every flashbulb, it's ash without you. That night with Lila, the stupidest ad-lib of my life. Desperation, not desire. I thought it'd protect us, keep the vultures off your back. Instead, it drove you away. And me? I'm the villain in my own script now. I'm done with the games. Quit the rom-com. Walking from neon hearts if it means clawing back what we had. Portland, right? Saw your Insta subtle, but I know that bridge. Meet me? One coffee, no cameras. Let me prove I'm still your anchor. Or tell me to go, and I will. Forever. Yours, always Z. Tears blurred the ink. Rage. Relief. A tidal pull. I crumpled it, then smoothed it flat. Evidence of a man unraveling at the seams. Javier found me later, staring at the Willamette's churn. X? He guessed. Lighting too. Yeah. The kind that writes like Hemingway on heartbreak. He chuckled. Read it. Every word. And, I sighed, fogging the air. And I'm terrified. Portland's autumn painted the city in fire. Leaves carpeting sidewalks like confetti from a party I hadn't crashed. I paced the loft. Pros and cons a mental ledger. Stay safe. Solitary. Or risk the plunge. Ethan's plea echoed Baldwin. Love takes no lesser life for granted. Was this lesser? Or the spark I doused too soon? The meat was set. The daily grind. Neutral ground. Noon on a Tuesday when the rush ebbed. I arrived early, heart jackhammering, fiddling with sugar packets like rosary beads. The bell tinkled. There he was, thinner, shadows under those denim eyes, but still Ethan, in faded Levi's and a hoodie pulled low. No entourage. Just him. Alex. His voice broke on my name, stepping close but halting, respecting the chasm. I stood, arms crossed, armor. You look like shit. He half smiled. I haven't slept. Portland suits you, though. Grounded. Good. We ordered black for him, latte for me, and claimed a corner table. Rain pattering the window like hesitant applause. Awkward at first, weather, the cafe scones. Then it cracked open. I'm sorry, he started, hands splayed on the scarred wood. For everything. The kiss, the lies, thinking I could control the narrative. You were right. I'm a method actor gone rogue, dragging you into my mess. I stirred my foam, avoiding his gaze. It wasn't just that. It was the reminder. I'm the nobody, you're the star. What future's that? You on red carpets. Me in the shadows. His jaw tightened. Bullshit. You're the only real thing I've touched. The rest? Smoke and mirrors. I walked from the film. Alex. Told my agent to shove his image. Lost the deal. Yeah. But gained. Perspective. My head snapped up. You what? Quit. Starting over. Small roles. Real stories. And you, if you'll have me. No spotlights. Just us. The air thickened. Charged. I wanted to bolt. To believe. To bridge the gap. Why now? After months of radio silence. Fear, he admitted. Voice raw. Scared you'd say no. Scared I wasn't enough without the shine. But losing you? That's the real blackout. Tears pricked. Unbidden. Javier's words ghosted. Share the rain. I reached across. Fingers lacing his, tentative. Then firm. One step. Coffee turns to walks. Walks to. Whatever. But no more hiding. No more running. His grip tightened. Eyes shining. Deal. Portland embraced us slow. Like a waltz relearned. We explored Powell's City of Books, where he read me Whitman aloud in the stacks. Forest hikes in the gorge. Wind whipping confessions from our lips. Javier approved. Clapping Ethan's back at a slam. Treat him right, Hollywood, or I'll haunt your dreams in haiku. Ethan stayed, subletting a studio near the cafe low-key. Our scripts arrived, but he shared them now. Co-writing sessions on rainy afternoons, my input sharpening edges. Our story emerged, a tale of a waiter and a wanderer, love forged in diners and doubts. Climax came uninvited, as they do. 6 months in. Ethan's agent. Unfired, unrelenting, leaked old pics. Us at the taqueria. Intimate, undeniable. Headlines erupted. Hale's secret past. The real love behind the lies. Reporters swarmed the cafe. Mics thrusting like spears. Ethan, is this your coming out redemption? He faced them outside. Me at his side, no shadows. Yeah, he said, arm around my waist, voice steady as Oregon pines. This is Alex, my partner, my co-star in life. The rest? Noise. The world spun. Interviews. Endorsements. A queer romdram greenlit with us attached. Him directing. Me producing. But fame's hook dug deep. Doubts resurfaced. Late nights. He'd pace. Whispering. What if it swallows us again? I pull him down. Grounding. Then we rewrite. Together. The ending? Not tidy. Not tragic. Human. We moved to a craftsman in the hills, view of the river. Not the basin, roots sinking tentative. Weddings weren't our script. Commitment was quieter. Vows etched in shared silences. A ring plain as Portland rain. I quit waiting tables. Dove into producing our film. Alley Lights. Premiered to tears and cheers. A story of nameless souls finding names in each other's arms. Years on, as credits rolled on our lives reel, I'd catch him watching me. Across diner booths or directors' chairs, with that crooked smile. Still running? He'd tease. Nah, I'd say, lacing fingers. Found my road. And you're the thunder. In the end, love wasn't the hook or the climax. It was the quiet reel, spinning on flawed, fierce, forever ours.